think it's on my YouTube, but because I go live every day, it's far back.
Okay. What did I say by the Mohbad on that show?
You said it was substance. I said something similar to it, but I coded my words because of the bashing I was getting from people. But
Okay.
Is this true? As in, how verifiable is this particular autopsy result that
now
is published?
let me tell you something about this autopsy results. A lot of us had seen this autopsy results in September when it was done, and I mean, we, the cabal in the journalism field, there's a group where all the journalists are, you know, the journalists that matter. And I call it a cabal because we leak so many things in there. We had seen this autopsy and I had issues with it. That's why I was telling you, bring a lawyer and a medical doctor. But it's okay, I can do the show alone with you. When we did the show, we said this young man had a history of substance abuse. We know that. And it's not just because they raided the Marlian house. They all had a history of using all kinds of substances. Ilari Olua particularly liked Molly. You know, Molly is MDMA, ecstasy, and that's what it is. Now, at the end of the day, I said that. But what else did I say at the end of the show? What Owonha said on the news conference. Owonha listed a cocktail of drugs.
Of
and
medications.
Excuse me. Owonha listed a cocktail of meds, prescription medications that we use in medicine. When I analyzed what this nurse administered, every single thing she administered, maybe I should say it this way. Faishayo Ogedengbe, the auxiliary nurse, every single thing she sent spending the DJ to go buy in the pharmacy and bring back was exactly what a doctor will use in a clinical setting. The only problem is that she did what they call trial and error. They had so many antibiotics, they had so many painkillers, they had so many things. So they laid all of them in a trial and error fashion. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I blame NAFDAC for that because they're complicit too. All these medications, you cannot get them in America. You can.
Okay, Kemi, you have to be very careful. Oh. They've already started restricting my live on TikTok. So please, let's be very, very careful. They've already restricted me on TikTok now.
Are you
so we cannot? Yes, we cannot say.
Charlie saw Yoruba.
When you get there, you can use Yoruba and say.
Let me do Yoruba English. Let me do Yoruba English. Basically, all right. Okay. Trial and error. They will use them in clinical settings, but what she did was trial and error. In pharmacy, when I'm working in CVS, you can actually check all the medications that are going out to the patients waiting, but they can't go out until I sign it. That's how retail works. In the hospital, it's the same thing. A pharmacist has to check everything. Nurses, there are some nurses they call RN, registered nurse, LPN, GPN. In other words, nurses have 4 categories in America. And some nurses are what they call auxiliary nurses. They're like assistant. That's what the pharmacy technician is to a pharmacist. The tech can do everything, but I have to sign over. So an auxiliary nurse, okay, is a technician. She only did CRIME, all right? CIRME is the fact we supervision. Now, if a registered nurse was there with her, then we're in another situation. She wouldn't be arrested. Do you understand me? Now, looking at the medications, she did trial and error, and there was an error, and the error bite the person. Now, before I go on about the drugs, about the autopsy, because we're going to look at the autopsy and we're going to actually read exactly what was sent here, and I will try my best not to use the D word. Sure to get.
Yes, you have already used it, but just continue.
There's something fishy in that autopsy that basically when our pharmacy group, our journalism group, the group is not open to anybody. People are messaging me, they want to join. No, I don't use WhatsApp. I only use it to teach people, and I have that group finished. And it's not for anybody, okay? It's just for journalists and PPROs. We don't even have PPROs there too much. Now, before we go into the medication part, what I want to say is freeze. There's something called causation. This is why you're going to do a part 2 of this show, and you're going to bring a lawyer. If you need me in that show, call me ahead of time. Contact me ahead of time. But
No problem.
need to bring lawyers. I hope you're writing this down. Causation. Everybody must go and Google causation. There is a causation effect in this case. Now that everybody has seen that autopsy with their eyes. Causation means in kokombai low. In kokombai low pa. In other words,
now this thing in you, now this thing
fire. One thing that could by somebody was introduced into the victim, and another thing actually by the person. There is one particular case I want to cite out of the United States, okay, R versus White. I will get it, I will send you the link later. I was a new journalist when this started. I only practiced 1994 to 2024, 30 years. And this was my last investigation, Mohbad. I was a new journalist in, I think it was 1996, R versus White. There was a huge causation effect there, where a woman had a heart attack. She was elderly, and she was like maybe 85. So her son felt that you are 85, you have all these medical issues, might as well just buy you. Sure you get assisted by, you know what I mean?
It's called euthanasia.
Euthanasia, thank you, we can use that. So what the boy did was he poisoned his mother. And when he poisoned his mother, nothing happened on day 1. It was actually day 3 that the mother now had a heart attack. And that poison was supposed to work like ASAP, as soon as possible. So what now happened is the police arrested him. They did the autopsy for this old lady, and the doctor said she simply had a heart attack. Secondary to what? Poison? Medication she was on, or something she ate? It was not secondary to any of them. So they acquitted him. So the causation factor is very important. Please, if you go and Google causation, you will see a column for dictionary meaning, and you see a Wikipedia. Go and read the Wikipedia, and you see people asking questions. During the Oromoni case, you remember that Sylvester had pneumonia.
Yes.
But he was being bullied and hazed. Now, at the end, the autopsy showed that he actually died of an enlarged liver from the pneumonia, whereas he was actually being bullied. I will also go to the New York case, the 12-year-old in New York. I was covering that at the very same time as Sylvester's case. The 12-year-old in New York was being bullied, punched in the head, everything, and he died of a peptic ulcer. I was actually dragged into that one in New York. One journalist was following the Romani case in America, and that journalist needed me to help her with the New York case. I'll give you the boy's name in New York. These are cases we have to use to look at further cases. That's why they say journalism is a rough draft of history. Now, when I talked to the New York attorney, I said, even though the day this boy died in school, another bully said, watch me bully you today. And the boy said, I'll give you my lunch money if you dare punch me. So that boy punched him, he fell, and he was rushed to the hospital and gave him the lunch money. But when he got home after the hospital, he was fine. And his parents now started to complain to the school that now they're betting lunch money to be bullied. My son doesn't have to go through this. The boy went to bed, and in the morning, he was spiked in his sleep. So when they now had the autopsy, clearly anyone will say it is the result of the fight in school yesterday. So the autopsy showed a peptic ulcer. So here comes Kemi Olunloyo, US trained clinical pharmacist, living in Africa, investigative journalist, And they cited me in that case because I said, I'm also a pharmacist. If a peptic ulcer killed that little boy, if a peptic ulcer by that little boy, there is a classification of ulcer called stress ulcers. We know H. pylori, the bacteria that will enter ulcers and can bite someone. But what about stress ulcers? Stress ulcer actually exists as a disease, and it is as a result of stress. And that stress is the bullying. So they incorporated that into the case. At the end of the day, they cited me, and I was right in a way. The judge said, this is very interesting. These are things we have to know. Stress ulcers. At the end of the day, what happened? They settled the case, and they gave the family $3 million. And some people in New York said it was too small. The city gave them $3 million, and I think they settled it, and that was it. There was some other monies given, but the $3 million was the major settlement. They settled that one. Now, I explained that because I want you to know what causation is. All right. In the autopsy that we saw that was leaked, okay, there was a woman inside that autopsy. She was Mohbad's aunt. She attended. All the family members were supposed to attend.
Yes.
Only person that didn't attend was Mohbad's dad and mom, because it's taboo, I guess. You saw what he said on my interview. He said he could not attend any kind of thing like that. When you attend an autopsy, you're either there or sitting in the lounge, in the thing. Do you know how a stadium is freeze? We sit on the rows up there, and down in the middle, they're playing the game. That's how an autopsy is. There could be people sitting on 6 rows watching it from the glass. And they're the surgeons and the pathologists who are actually there. We are required 3 autopsies before we graduate from pharmacy school. And I attended 3. The first one was canceled because the patient's disease was active. And they don't like students in active disease case. The person had HIV. So if blood starts splashing now and it splashes on a student, that's a lawsuit there. But the second autopsy was a pie case. And the third one was a diabetic woman. You see that pie one? I paid attention to a lot of things. Auntie Mohbad said, Talogun Mohbad Lorun. Did you hear it or you didn't hear it? Freeze.
I heard it. I just heard Talogun Lorun. What does that signify?
Emilo, the word laceration. Laceration is about lang. Exactly. Taba Mwejali markets. Okay. Elomi ofek bejawale, emi on bejawale. In any country, Emma, the scales, you will clean it for me. And then you will lacerate the fish and take up all the lungs and everything. That's what a laceration is. Laceration, one report to Tawari. Immediately laceration for 8 months. Don't back your love. Laceration will cause a lot of bleeding. Okay? In bloody blanket, she understand because of freeze.
100%.
This is why we had a bloody blanket, because of that laceration. Where is that blanket? Nigerian police was supposed to carry that blanket with gloves, test it for DNA, everyone that touched that blanket, but now it's gone. The crime scene was tremendously damaged. So now, at the end of the day, Ifedayo, what we have is a young man, Darosha, his PA, who said he embalmed the body. Now, 8 months later, after the police had closed the case, I worked with the police from September 15th to the 30th. And let me tell you my role. I have a thread of conversations. I don't post such thing. It would compromise investigations. With Ben Hondain, Muiwa Dejobi, all the PPROs, everybody. I worked with the police because there was so much multimedia and we had to authenticate it. You know about authentication, you're a journalist, you're a broadcast journalist. You can't just put a video out of Sam Larry's voice saying all stations said truth. You can't just put anything out. You have to authenticate. Authenticate it means date, time, and everything. This is why all my multimedia in social media, I always say the date and the time. Now, so as we were authenticating all those, Mr. Darusha posted on his page that he embalmed the body. The father arrived, they saw it under the staircase, there was a body blanket. That story fielded out into the social media. So it's been the narrative. Now, on the 30th, I finished with the police and the DSS. I got involved with the DSS. Like I said, I helped all three agencies. The DSS was involved because I believe Marwa contacted them because some two actresses said that they poisoned Mohbad. So Marwa is not going to allow that. And I'm really happy for them because if the DSS had arrested those actresses, they wouldn't have been coming out for 2 years. DSS doesn't let people go on bail or like that because you cannot get into national security and mess up the name of an army general who was a governor in 3 or 4 states and who is heading the drug agency. You know what I mean? We have a problem. NTLA is live right now. I'm going there at 4 o'clock to join for the last hour. So that's what the DSS part was. Now the NTLA part was associated with the whole, they gave Mohbad something to drink. What they did was all the multimedia that was out there was very, very, what's the word? Was confusing.
Confusing.
Okay, they showed Mohbad on the October attack, lying down and talking about something that happened in February. They went to rehab. Nobody poisoned anybody. At the end of the day, he was in an October video talking about the February stuff. So everybody now remarketed it as this just happened. So we had to authenticate all those stuff. Things that I found, I gave to the police, okay? And when I finished my investigation November 30th, it was 2 months, I gave it to Owonha. Owonha did exactly what, what's the name of this guy? Odumosu did. I don't know whether it's a tradition. In the middle of Sylvester investigation, Odumosu retired. In the middle of Mohbad investigation, Owonha, the word they used was retired, but it turned out that he was promoted to DIG and then promoted to Interpol. He's the head of Interpol now. So as Owonha left, I sent my report to him, what I have. And my report came up with the H word. Am I allowed to say that?
No.
Okay. The byword. I have a new word, by most side. Is that good?
Yes.
I came up with by most side. And I said, there's 15 people in the house. They all need to be arrested, interviewed, everything. This is a by most side. But why would they buy him? What is the essence of buying him? Did they want to use him for Ogun or what? But at the end of the day, you know, because there's some people that do that whole juju thing. But at the end of the day, that's the bulk of my investigation. And I explained one by one. I did videos. I did 17 videos and I archived them because Nigerians wanted to be sentimental and they didn't want to believe. So I archived them on TikTok. When I archived those videos, I now decided that I'm going to join the activism cause, because as a journalist, you can't enter activism at the same time if you are doing that story. Journalists must never insert themselves into the story. You know that, okay? Yes. You see what Megan
it's called did jumping into the arena.
Exactly. You see what Megan did, the reporter, you know, in America, what she did when she was doing Tory Lanez versus Megan Thee Stallion. Yeah. All the fans loved her, and she did her work very professionally, and that's why they named her Megan the Reporter. Okay, but Nigerians, they want you to enter
pick a side. Yeah.
They want
I learned from the obedient campaign.
You don't insert yourself. Do you know what they would tell me? Are you not a mother? I'm like, excuse me, people, listen up. When I come out the door of my house, I'm not a mother. I'm a journalist. When I leave, when a pilot leaves the door of their house, they tell their children bye-bye. They tell their wife bye-bye. They get into the plane. They don't go there as a father, uncle. They go there as a pilot. You focus on your job in the cockpit. So when Kemi goes out there, okay, Dr. Kemi is a journalist when she goes into the newsroom. When she goes out into the pharmacy, she's a pharmacist. That's not to say that we can't be compassionate, okay? But activism and forever anonymous, thank you, dear. I like positive people. Activism and journalism are two different things. Unfortunately, we have so many people who are journalists who became activists and then got into trouble of the people because they made it sentimental. What's Sean King now? Sean King or Remy? Sean was working at the New York Times. But Black Lives Matter and the New York Times. And he left the New York Times and he started doing his own. Today, Sean is a Muslim. He's converted and he's all over Palestine. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has a way of doing that. And then there are the activists who are not journalists, but they're investigating things. Whoa, Gwamnishu now. Harrison Gwamnishu, an activist, he's a journalist, but they're investigating things. But those ones put their lives on the line. Tobawo activist, that Turkish activist, the woman activist, they fight her mother. Activism and journalism, no shape up. And I will never forget that lady. I knew her very well. So now that I've retired, I decided to join the activism course because I feel there should be justice for Mohbad. Now, I know that you have your own views, Daddy Freeze. What I want to say to you, Freeze, is the reason why you must bring a lawyer is there's a causation effect here. Me personally, Motiso, I will say it again. Mohbad don't like me, or Davido look powerful, she like me. O block o me, only come up by me sorrow, ko ba mi ya photo, but ko sibo shemari ni aye ti awai. Let me say something. In this world that we're in, ko sibo shemari mi o le paro fun e. Okon pa yomo yen ni. Nkoko watali solve to back write-ups me. The reason I did the write-ups.
Why does she feel why do you feel that he was spied?
Let me tell you why. Shori videos the videos I did about my investigation. Here's what happened. This is what happened. People didn't take it serious. They wanted to be abusing me. I archived it all away. I now decided to do a text version. Is why I'm doing these long write-ups so that people can see it again. So if you notice one of my text versions, I talked about telegony of the little boy, okay? And I also talked about the DNA test and how they secretly did some new DNA tests. DNA 1 negative from Mohbad, DNA 2 negative from Mohbad, and I asked them to post it so that people can see it. If there needs to be another DNA test, the child needs to be in front of the grandfather, and the test will be done the very same day.
Oh, so okay. So are you trying to say, Dr. Kemi, that a DNA was done and Mohbad is not the father of Liam?
I'm not trying to say. Let me start with the DNA thing again. When this case started, a source told us very credible information. The very same source went to VDM, okay? What's the name of that boy? Martin Osei. A very same source went to VDM. The very same source went to Sahara Reporters, Premium, okay, as well as the Cable NG. These are the same sources. Okay, that's why the DNA issue started with me and VDM on the blogging side. Now, they said that they did an utero DNA. You can take DNA of a baby before a baby is born. And they said it was done in UAE. I don't want to mention the names of the people, but it was credible. It said that Sam was the father. Sam replied me on Instagram. Did you see his reply to me?
No.
He just said, I'm not the father of Liam, and I have my own children and my own wife at home. Okay? When he wrote that, he was obviously referring to me. So when he denied it, fine. Let's do a fresh new DNA. A man called me and told me that he would give her, Wumi, 10 million naira to do the DNA. 10 million. She didn't take the offer. Then, Miss Tonto Dike offered to do a DNA in Abuja. They said they'll do it. Miss Yabojo offered to do a DNA. In October of 2023, Miss Yabojo reportedly paid influencers on Twitter to post that.
These things you are saying, can you back them up? Because you're mentioning people's names.
Yes, I can back them up. You're a journalist, but you remember, I am an investigative journalist. Freeze, do you know the proof of, what's the name we call it? When a journalist has a source and protect the source.
But you see, can you really build a story out of this when you
You
are
can build
having,
this
because
free.
okay, so Kemi here is making some allegations about Yabojo, Sam, and Tonto.
Yeah.
We'll like to hear from their sides, and I
They
personally
will
don't
not
believe.
talk.
I
They
don't
will not
believe
talk.
this. Do you
Wait,
understand? This is you
they,
talking. I don't believe. I don't believe that child is Sam's child. Personally, I don't. I don't believe Iyabo and Tonto paid for DNA unless they say it themselves.
Okay,
I
move back.
don't think that is true. But you can continue with what you're saying.
Move back to, you don't think they paid for DNA,
Mm.
but they paid the influencers. Major influencers on Twitter were paid 100,000 each out of the millions they got from their donations. The influencers were told to post on Twitter, DNA has been done and Mohbad is the father. OGB was one of them, Mohbad's friend. Ruthie was one of them. Okay, a bunch of people posted it and they made it viral. And I've asked some of those influencers. I won't tell you exactly the one I asked because we must protect the source. Source protection means that no courts, no police, nobody can ask a journalist anything because they must protect
I'm not
the
sure
source.
it works like that in Nigeria, though.
No, wait. This is American law. Okay? This is the reason I did not honor the 6 invitations I got from Nigerian police. I called the US Embassy and I told them that if I'm a dual of 2 countries and I'm practicing in another country, how does the First Amendment work in this case? The embassy said they will go to the thing with me and they will record it. You know, someone who said he doesn't want the US Embassy coming to the police invitation for oral money and be recording because it will be a bigger story and it will make them all look bad around the world. You don't want to do that to somebody who is a US trained journalist, okay, who is also a dual from that country. So because of that, if you remember, don't let me say if you remember, Freeze, you probably don't know. In 1995, there was a source protection, what's it called? I was only a journalist 1 year in 95. A journalist was told that if he doesn't produce the source that gave them the information, he will pay $1 million a day in fine. Every day, the judge locked the journalist up, 1 million in fine. When the fine became $8 million in fine, all of us left. They said every journalist must. Now, American journalists striked for 1 day. In the 24 hours that nobody worked, guess what? There was crime, there was looting, there was everything, especially in Chicago where the scanners, you know, the police scanners is the one that gives us the stories. Police scanner will be saying, once you buy it, they come be by you. In the newsroom, there was nobody in the newsroom. We boycotted for 1 day. People are buying, different crimes were done because there was no news. Can you imagine if there's no news for 24 hours? So the judge now had to release our comrade. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was trained in the US, and I'm not going to come to Africa where they have a freedom of press in the constitution, but they don't abide by it. If you don't want a freedom, Nigeria shouts about that a lot. We have freedom of press, then let it go. Okay? Mama Jazz, IVD's sister-in-law, whatever, has no right to invite me. I did not honor that invitation. Adeleke had no right to invite me in 2018. Okay? It was his lawyer, what's the name of that boy, Bobo Ajudua, that said he begged him that to open a can of worms on what by Davido's mom. Because I know it and I have all the recordings. I have all the phone calls he made. So a whole bunch of people have invited me. Oh, come on, Freeze. I had 6 invitations and I left that country. I will not be invited. Somebody told me, why don't you leave Nigeria and go do your work properly without anybody bothering you? Well, I said I'm retiring in 2024, my 30th year. I will leave, Sha. And I left January of 2023. So the whole point of it is, I can't tell you exact people and sources. I can just tell you that it was a lie. Miss Yabojo posted something. She said, for all of you that want to hear from Wumi, it's on my page, official Kemi Lawyer, my journalism page. It's not a news page, it's an archive from my work. But because of Mohbad being the last one, I'm talking actively there. If you go to official Kemi Lawyer, you will see it there. Yabo's post. Everyone that wants to hear from Wumi about DNA, she's now talking, and all the bloggers now blogged it. DNA has been done, is Mohbad. When that didn't work, I busted everybody. When that didn't work, they now tried.
Let me take you back a little. Are you saying that Mohbad is the father?
No.
Okay. What exactly are you trying to say concerning Liam so that we can get a clear picture for the people watching?
If you go to official Kemi Lawyer and you look at particular post I did on DNA and telegony, there's a piece of that investigation I cannot answer. Freeze. When they were filming a video with Zlatan wouldn't talk to me. Nobody will talk to anybody. When they were filming, okay, Dotun, let me say this to Dotun real quick, okay? Dotun, I'm not going to be invited for anything. I just spoke about nobody can invite me. I don't honor invitations. And I just spoke about working with the police for 2 weeks. Okay, phone, everything. I'm not in Nigeria anymore, Dotun. Okay, focus. Okay, you've always been stupid. Use your brain.
Auntie Kemi, no.
I don't like him. Dotun is very insulting to me. He has been disrespecting me for years.
No, but you see, he made the statement he made. He said you can be invited if you make allegations.
He probably thinks I live in Nigeria. He probably still thinks I live in Nigeria. He probably still thinks I'm in this
particular instance, Emma Binu, he did not insult you here.
But he did not insult you. Our train for investigative journalism. And I've been vindicated in every case. Listen, Freeze, let me continue here. They paid influencers.
Auntie Kemi, please don't insult him. He did not insult you.
I'm reading his comments.
But he just said allegations. He spoke of allegations.
No, I'm reading his comments, and he's fueling comments from his fans who are saying, oh, she's trying so much and all that. I don't need that. But don't disrespect me. I'm going to be 60 in 2 months. I'm nobody's mate here. Okay? Go and figure out what's going on with your own family and your own children. Okay? If you disrespect
Auntie Kemi. Auntie Kemi, I will be angry now.
Freeze, you know you are like my you are like my little brother.
Let's you see, if he had any issues with you somewhere else, Dotun respects my platform, and I also want you to respect it so that there will not be any friction.
And he needs to
unless I didn't read his comment.
And he needs to respect me.
Yes.
He needs to respect me. Okay, let me continue. When you pay influencers, okay, I'm not here to tell you which influencers were paid. The influencers have told me, and they even gave me the amount. When you pay influencers 100,000 to say that the DNA has done, Mohbad is not the father. Mohbad is the father. When you write that kind of stuff, and it's not true in the end, go work, then they use a third strategy. Stella Demococcus. Stella said she heard that a Nollywood star secretly took me to go and do DNA test. Okay, and blah, blah, blah. When I got that from Stella, I went and investigated it. And I looked around, and I saw that one was done in Lagos, one was done in Abuja. Talomulosi DNA in Lagos, Yabo. Talomulosi Abuja, Tonto. Kidney results, negative. Mohbad is not the father. Let them post those results online. They cannot post it. I dare them to post it online. Let me tell you why I dare them. Daddy Freeze, you need to go and read my write-up. There's a component in this case that they got away with by... You hear me? That component is what happened at that video shoot. I never looked at that angle when I did my initial investigation. There is a video where Zlatan and Mohbad were sitting on wheelchairs shooting a video. Maybe that was part of the shoot. He said something about 8 million naira he paid for that shoot in his petition. He said Mr. Sam Larry came with his boys and they were shouting the king's name. Am I allowed to say this king?
No.
Okay. They said a king's name.
Make we not join them. You know, say
okay. Let me finish. Everybody listen. They mentioned a king's name inside that petition. Did you see what Mohbad wrote in the petition? For reasons best known to him. He said, I'm here on behalf of this palace and this king. For reasons best known to him, I don't know. They dabarooed my shoot and they destroyed equipment. And I don't own that equipment. The video guy's equipment was expensive. They destroyed some of the stuff. And the 8 million, I guess, was forfeited because of the damaged equipment. That's what he said.
Hold on 1 second. Somebody said DF is afraid. I'm afraid, though. That one is not lie.
What?
Sorry, Madam Kemi, continue.
So when they now said Okay, when they now said, when that, what's it called? When Mohbad did that petition, everybody was supposed to show up at the petition. Sam Larry showed up at the petition, at the invitation for that petition, and so did the two boys that he brought. We authenticated that video and we saw Sam Larry holding something that amounts to a cutlass or a stick, something big, or a baseball bat. Okay, they showed up at the petition, but somebody didn't show up. Mohbad did not show up. Why didn't Mohbad show up? Why did the petition, why did Zlatan and Bella Shmurda are the principal people that were posting everything online? They were the ones that were posting medicine after bite. You understand what I'm saying? Medicine after bite. We should have seen that petition before the bite. Because if that petition came before the bite, police would have taken action. So now police was bashed and abused because they didn't do anything, quote unquote. It's not that they didn't do anything. Mohbad never showed up. Why didn't Mohbad show up? Focus on the bigger picture. Mohbad didn't show up because he was afraid. He said something about the king, and he said for reasons best known to him. The king now sent a statement out from the palace that they're not related to Mr. Larry, Mr. Sam Larry. We're not related to him. He's not related to this palace or anybody. The statement got that straight. Was Sam Larry just using the name of the king to boast or not? Why that king? This is a new angle. Remember, the mainstream media, who is supposed to be investigating this case, at least the Punch, Vanguard, Premium Times, Cable NG, the ones that even have the good investigative capacity, Premium Times, Cable NG, and Sahara reporters, they didn't investigate this case. Do you know the reason?
Why?
Freeze, can you tell me the reason? Because, one, the Nigerian media, they don't always do everything. Kemi is independent, she can do everything. It could be libelous to them, and people can sue. The mainstream media will not even touch it. The MTVC and all the TV and radio one. It could be libelous, but an independent journalist can touch it. And also, it involves a lot of public figures. There's a senator, there's a king. Who's going to touch that? You know what I mean? And there's a woman whose mother was a former police officer who apparently, according to an MPF officer that spoke to me, under anonymity, you don't know about investigative journalists how anonymous people want to be because you have to protect the source. Emi was very instrumental in Ajah police station. Did I not live in Ajah? Was I not one of the people that supported this whole thing with the boy they killed? Oh, excuse me, the boy they pied, that boy. And then next was Bolanle Rahim, the lawyer. They had to move the whole police station away and put new officers there. So I have that connection in Ajah as a member of the community there. But a police officer in Ajah was telling me that they rushed to bury him because of one reason. People were abusing Joseph Aloba. It was not him that rushed to bury him. The police officer told me we did not give them a report. Wumi was holding the death certificate and the medical report. She did not hand it over. So the next thing is to go to the police and get a police report. The mortuary won't take him. They did not give him because Wumi's mother allegedly influenced that DPO. This is according to my police source. If you allegedly influenced...
So now, where did you get this source from? It's
a police officer. It's a police officer in Ajah. Just like I was inside the Bohini's office.
Can you mention the police officer's name so we can invite you?
I have to protect the source now.
Okay. Police officer in Ajah, please contact us. Want to know this story?
Contact because Daddy Freeze. Now listen, Freeze. That Ajah police officer is actually watching, and I see him here watching. That Ajah police officer said because there was no police reports, they had to bury him. They had to rush and bury him. Meanwhile, Nigerians were looking at another.
Kept him in the morgue.
They couldn't go to the morgue. Freeze McBoron now. They could not go to the morgue without a report. Two things will get them in the morgue: a police report or a death certificate. You can't just bring a body now. Oh my God, when your man dump body in America,
okay.
So Ntori one more go bring apparently one will bring allegedly influence DPO and come out for any report. So which means one láti lọ bury it right away. Baba Mohbad wa lọlé, wọ́n fẹ́ lọ gbé body. Wọ́n ní Darosha sọpọ̀ ntí ẹ̀ ń bá mẹ́ body wa lábẹ́ step. Wọ́n tẹ̀ láti sáré lọ bury ẹ̀. By the time tó máa gbé débi tó fẹ́ ti bury ẹ̀, bàbá kan wà. Mo bẹ́ẹ̀ nìkan sọ̀rọ̀ ní community yẹn. We cannot do it at night. Ibi tí body yẹn sùn overnight lèmi ò wá mọ̀. Wọ́n wá gbé body yẹn wá láàárọ̀, wọ́n wá bury it. That don't stop Mohbad from being in a mortuary, because tó bá wà ní mortuary, what will happen is that an autopsy will be done immediately. They knew what they were doing because they didn't want us to know the cocktail of drugs, that the cocktails of medicine. They didn't want us to know the cocktail of medicine they rigged into him. Remember, Freeze, we didn't know about that cocktail of medicines yet. So they wanted to hide the cocktail of medicines they rigged into him by quickly burying him. It was after that that the press conference showed he was given so many medications and he reacted to ceftriaxone and had anaphylaxis. So this is investigative journalism. This is what detectives are supposed to do. Mohbad, Freeze, in Kota detectives Lachisheni, go and ask Toronto police. They said I helped them solve 13 pies. I solved 13 pies with them. They are detectives. They detect things. But it was not the detectives doing this. It was an investigative journalist doing this. So if you look at it now, over minimum be $6,000. If you look at this, you will now see the reason why she's sorry no barriers. When you put on bed, one fair high book because in Koto autopsy. So one barrier. But 8 days later. Okay? Look at let me answer this question. Nobel, I was deported because of my fake reports. No, that's not why I was deported. I was deported because I was antagonizing gun laws. That's why the police came and now talked about how good I work with them, okay? Learn something. People don't have to be like this. We don't care about your sentiments. VDM is behind bars. I'm here. Only Kotoshi VDM. Timawa Nigeria, I'm trying to explain me again. But listen. Please listen. Look at the autopsy. Do you see something that was clearly a lie inside the autopsy?
And what is that, Dr.
Okay, before I tell you what it is, Kini Darusha said, I embalmed the body. I left it under the staircase. Mohbad's father came. Mohbad's father said, I saw a bloody blanket, and Darusha embalmed the body. The case was closed by the police in November, and it was sent to the DPP. And the police told Yabojo that the case is not with us any longer. Yabo did not go to the DPP. Officer Onigbanjo and all that. Onigbanjo is gone now. The DPP is the Director of Public Prosecutions. Nigerians don't know the meaning of half of this stuff, so you have to explain to them. The Director of Public Prosecutions determines who will now be prosecuted. Kinimo Sofwen. Live last. People, tell the truth. What did I say on my write-ups and on my videos? They would try and push this thing on the nurse and on Prime Boy, because Prime Boy was the one that had the fight with Mohbad. Even though Mohbad's punch missed Prime Boy, it ended up in the car, which means glass and metal, injured his right forearm. And that's what they wanted to hear from Prime Boy. When he said he didn't get the invitation, they made him a wanted man. He came in and he spoke to TVC before he went. I didn't want him to talk to TVC, but they said he had a lawyer with him. When they released Prime Boy, they went back and raided his house and arrested him again. Most Nigerians didn't hear that second raid. Prime Boy now wrote some very angry things about Prime Boy now wrote some angry things to Wunmi and said that the world will know the truth about you and walk by your boyfriend. Quote unquote, he used the word boyfriend. So at the time he said boyfriend, I went to look for a marriage certificate. There's none. It was a traditional wedding. So she's a common law wife. That right there is a big issue. She has no right to Mohbad's music assets. Okay?
Now, if she has a traditional marriage, and
she has no right.
Mohbad's father said that there was a wedding.
A traditional marriage. There's no marriage certificate.
And a traditional marriage is recognized in Nigeria.
As what?
As
I don't know. You know me, I'm not married and I've never been.
As a proper marriage. I come from a family of lawyers. I'm not a lawyer, by the way, but
it's recognized, but is there a marriage certificate?
You don't need to have a marriage certificate. All you need to do is have pictures of a traditional wedding. A traditional marriage in Nigeria suffices as a proper marriage.
All right. Whatever it is, I'm not going to argue about marriage because I've never been married in Nigeria or anywhere. And the problem here is that we have music assets. How are they going to use that in probate? There's no marriage certificate. You want to go to probate court to get Mohbad's earnings from Naira Marley, who is collecting all the earnings now. You can't use traditional marriage in probate court. How's she going to do that? So they will have a problem in probate. Koloko were ready for probate lawyer. Toma face Naira Marley, Toma going. But listen, where I stopped was the whole fact of what was in that petition, the king and everything. The king was invited with Mohbad's father. You know Mohbad's father had an invitation earlier this week. Are you aware of that?
Yes, we heard that in the news.
Okay. That invitation has nothing to do with the public because it's private. If the police were to discuss that invitation, it would compromise the investigation. So when someone is invited, they send us these blank template letters. We're investigating a cyber something, blah, blah, blah. Didn't mention anybody's name. So you go with your lawyer. When Mohbad's father got there with his lawyer, it was the king. It was the king palaver that they went to talk about. Whatever they talked about, he's not allowed to discuss with anyone, including me, including any journalists. So all I knew is that it was about the king palaver. Mohbad dad is running around doing media interviews saying that once Wunmi does the DNA test, bam, the person that fired Mohbad will be revealed. Because he knows the DNA test. Okay? Have you tried interviewing Iyabo and Tonto if they took Wunmi to do a DNA test?
Yes, and they said they didn't.
So Stella was lying, right?
I wouldn't say lying. I would just say sources are different and nothing can really be proven now.
Okay. The lie in the autopsy.
Yeah.
After the police washed their hands of the case and sent it to the GPP to prosecute somebody, which I was right about, they push it on the lawyer and Prime Boy. Prime Boy has already testified with the police that he was just trying to prevent Mohbad from being harmed. I mean, somebody's out there visibly scared of Naira Marley and Sam Larry and Malian Music Boys. You now stand up and put your head on the sunroof of the car to wave to your fans after the concert. That's dangerous. They can fire a pew. Is that what you call it? They can fire a pew at you. So he was pushing him down. In the end, he punched the guy. He punched him back. And then he ended up punching the car. He missed. So you can't really blame Prime Boy for preventing him from being in harm's way. Now, after 8 months, when you close the case, Nigerian police decided to call Darusha. They called him illegal mortician. Illegal mortician. Was Darusha an illegal mortician? Darusha now said, Freeze, I hope you are listening.
I'm listening to you.
8 months later, the police now called Darusha. They invited him. He was nowhere to be found. Before they put a wanted poster out for him, he now hired Odumosu, not the police officer, Odumosu, the lawyer, the female lawyer, to represent him. So Odumosu and Darusha went to the invitation on the 9th of May, just 30 days ago. And Darusha said, I didn't embalm Mohbad. That was somebody who hacked my Instagram page. Did you hear that, Freeze?
Mm-hmm.
You heard the denial that Mohbad, that Darusha never moved. The boy said they hacked my Instagram page. I was his PA. I did not embalm him. Who came up with the narrative of Darusha embalmed Mohbad? He was under the step. Guess what? Joseph Aloba said on my interview that they had already embalmed his son when he got there and shaved his hair. Is this man now lying? Mr. Aloba said they had shaved his hair and embalmed it. Darusha now said they hacked my Instagram page. So you want to hack Instagram page? I never do that. That's the is it a lie now? Look at the first page of the autopsy. What did it say? What did that first page say? Daddy, please, let's look at it. He said they brought in a body not embalmed. Do you have it?
Yeah, I'm looking for it now. Just 1 second, so I can get it for you.
I'm going to.
Okay, Dr. Kemi, let's round off because I have another appointment.
Yeah.
So let me read the first page as you said.
Before you round up, let me go through this autopsy with you real quick. What do you say there? Let me just go through this autopsy with you real quick.
My eye no good. Don't make I wear glasses.
There's a medication that they found inside Mohbad.
Yes.
That's the key of what we should be talking about now.
Okay.
The medication they found inside Mohbad is called diphenhydramine. Can you see that on the autopsy?
All I can see is lashes.
Okay, please hold on. I'm pulling it before you have your appointment. This is very, very important. All right, NMS Labs. This is what I have. Are you ready?
Yes.
At the top of the autopsy, detailed findings, they have acetaminophen. Okay, acetaminophen is the name for paracetamol.
Yeah.
In America. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So something may have well been done in America with regards to the autopsy, to the toxicology tests. I don't know who NMS is, but some people are saying it is the lab they went to in America. But
my other appointment is already calling.
Wait, tell the person to give you 5 minutes.
Okay,
this is very important. Acetaminophen.
Hello? Yeah,
Freeze.
Continue.
I'm still going to do it as a write-up, so everybody can follow me on
So
Twitter.
they're calling me. Yes, 5 minutes. Kemi said we should give her 5 minutes. So just 5 minutes, I'll be done.
Nico, for me, 5 minutes.
Okay, please. We're live now, actually. All right. Yes, go ahead.
Okay. I don't know who NMS is, but they said it's the US lab. I don't know whether this are real tests, but this is what they have. Acetaminophen was found inside Mohbad, consistent with paracetamol that the nurse gave him for pain. That was on her list. Caffeine was found inside Mohbad. It said this test is an unconfirmed screen. Caffeine will come from the drink that Mr. Cubana Chief Priest sponsored the concert with. In other words, energy drinks, bitters, and all that. That may be where the caffeine came from. This is perplexing. Diphenhydramine was found inside Mohbad. 3,000. Not enough to buy him. Diphenhydramine is not marketed in Nigeria. Where did Mohbad get diphenhydramine from? Diphenhydramine is an antihistamine. We use it to sleep in America, and we use it for allergies, sneezing, and itching. It is not marketed anywhere in Nigeria, and I don't know how it showed up on the liver tissue for Mohbad, according to this. Reference comment says diphenhydramine is an antihistamine. It described it. The samples came from his blood specimen, his liver specimen, kidneys, they have everything. That's page 1. Page 2 of this autopsy, that was the toxicology part. The second page talked about the actual areas where they took all these tests. The bone marrow was there, the liver, the kidney, the lung. Liver and kidney is very, very important for medicines, the way they are excreted. They said he had a right forearm injury, multiple tattoos, and the body was exhumed with decomposition starting. The commentary, you can read it, but at the end of the day, they cannot really give what by Mohbad. So this autopsy is fake. This toxicology test is fake, and that's how I'm going to come up with it. You cannot tell me
those are your views, Dr. Kemi, not mine.
No, let me finish.
People come and carry me.
This is Kemi Olunloyo's views, not Free's views, not the cable, nobody. As a pharmacist of 35 years, you cannot tell me that acetaminophen, caffeine, and diphenhydramine was all you found in his system, claiming that many things have been decomposed. A medicine that's not marketed in what's it called, in Nigeria.
Now you know
what I
that
mean?
they get one thing. I'm not saying I'm not speaking in favor of them, but here are my thoughts. One, a lot of things that are not marketed in Nigeria are gotten by Nigerians.
Yes, I
so
have
they get
diphenhydramine.
this from the back door. One.
Number two, I have
yeah.
diphenhydramine. Somebody brought me 300 tablets for my allergies. So if I buy it, they will find it in my system. Where did Mohbad get this amount of diphenhydramine? If it was the nurse that injected it as diphenhydramine injection, which pharmacy did she get it from? But it's a sedative. At 50 milligrams, you can send somebody to sleep. So definitely, because there was a sedative inside him. And if you were treating somebody inside a house without going to the hospital, if you give them ceftriaxone and they react to it, that's really what they're saying in the style here, that ceftriaxone gave him an anaphylactic reaction and he died. Okay, this is what this thing is telling me, that it was the medicine that bite him. There are no controlled substances here. In other words, you know what controlled substances are. There are none of them here. So
somebody
you can't really tell
in
what
the comment
bites him.
section was talking about the balloon drugs.
The balloon drug,
substance.
the balloon
That
was
is
not
laughing gas.
No, nitrous oxide was not in Mohbad's system in the last
I'm just
48
saying
hours.
nitrous oxide is laughing gas.
Yeah, it was not in his system in the last 48 hours of his life. The only thing I would say that is valid on here is acetaminophen and caffeine. Now, 7 days is a long time. Okay, you can see that they said the body was not embalmed in the first page on embalmed body. So should we say that Russia was telling the truth? Talo embalmed body Mohbad, tí baba Mohbad sọ pé wọ́n ti embalm, wọ́n ti shave it. This thing is saying he wasn't embalmed. This report is not true. Let them come and sue me. NMS come and sue me. This is fake. This is fake. It did not go anywhere. And you can't tell me. Let me tell you why. The first residue that should be gone in the system of this boy should be the acetaminophen. Why did it show up in the toxicology test? Why didn't the ceftriaxone show up? And the tetanus and all the other medication, they did not show up. Once of me, diphenhydramine, it couldn't show up. I think caffeine. If anything, the caffeine, I can understand. But acetaminophen, what metabolize in the liver, what low 8 days left in the grave. Diphenhydramine is metabolize.
But metabolism stops.
These medicines have what they call
Dr.
half-life.
Metabolism of substance ends a few hours after demise.
It's called a half-life of a drug. That's why I'm saying,
yes. But you see, that half-life, while it's in his system and he's alive to pump it around his system, the moment he passes on, it no longer can be metabolized.
A pharmacist is on here saying what this woman is saying is fact. You cannot. The half-life of a drug is half the time it takes the drug to get out of the system. In other words, what I'm actually saying this NMS thing is fake is because if we have to look at the half-life of the long list that Omunha gave us from the nurse, our drugs, our medicines to the system, acetaminophen, law 3 hours, we half-life acetaminophen. Are you telling me you find acetaminophen in this boy's body after 8 days?
Because, you see, let me explain what the half-life is. Half-life, as he's working and metabolizing it, he's passing it out through his
liver
and all
and
that.
the kidney.
But the moment his body is no longer functioning, the half-life cannot be determined the way it is determined in a living organism.
That's why we have toxicology. Whitney used cocaine, crack cocaine on the day she died. But they did not find that. They did not find that as the use. What you said, the half-life of a medication is half the time it takes to eliminate from the body through the kidneys or the liver.
Yeah.
The acetaminophen they found in a body that has been under the ground for 8 days in rigor mortis should not be showing acetaminophen.
Rigor mortis, sorry, Dr. Kemi, rigor mortis ends about 10 hours or 15 hours after demise. Rigor mortis is not on for 8 days.
No,
let me give you the facts. Hold on, let me give you the facts about rigor mortis. Hold on. When does rigor mortis sets in. Rigor mortis approximately 2 hours after demise.
Then it becomes
to about 8 hours after. Hold on, to about 8 hours. Right. So after 8 hours, rigor mortis is no. So 8 days, rigor mortis has ended since. So we cannot bring in rigor mortis for as proof for 8 days. Rigor mortis ends within 12 hours. It's gone.
Freeze. After rigor mortis, then you have livor, L-I-V-O-R, livor mortis. What I'm telling you is, after a body has been exhumed 8 days after, and there was some body fluids inside the casket. After 8 days, these are not the 2 drugs that should be showing. Not acetaminophen, not diphenhydramine. Caffeine, yes. Why? Because of formalin. Formalin is the active ingredient in embalming fluid. Mohbad was embalmed. Formalin.
Now, hold on. Can we have, wait. There are so many things I disagree with. One is the half-life. We need a toxicologist or a pharmacologist to come and explain how half-life works after demise. Because you see, half-life in a living body is different from half-life after someone has passed and their liver and kidney are no longer functioning and expelling or filtering their blood. So we also need a doctor, preferably. I used to have on my contact list a pathologist who specialized in embalming. Now, if you know, hold on, Dr. Kemi, if you know any doctor who is who is into forensic medicine, please, forensic doctors in the house, forensic pharmacists in the house. I'm going to take a break now to have a meeting, and when I come back, I would want us to have this properly.
Because
yes, we'll come back. Now, because you see, there are things that you're saying that even I don't agree with in totality. But I'm not an expert enough. Let me tell you something. Hold on. The fact that someone is a doctor does not mean he can give an oncology advice. A professor of cardiology. Sorry, hold on. A professor of cardiology cannot give you oncology advice.
Freeze.
So you as a
oncology, cancer and oncology.
Freeze. I know. That's what I'm telling you. A professor of cardiology cannot give you advice on oncology. So, Dr. Kemi, you are a pharmacist. You cannot.
I'm a clinical pharmacist.
Clinical pharmacist, yes. But you see, what we need at this stage is a forensic doctor.
We need a pathologist, a forensic doctor that does autopsies.
That first. That's why I said I need a pathologist, guys.
Right.
Pathologist first.
You don't need a pharmacologist because I'm doing that now.
Someone who is an expert on forensic medicine. Right. We need to have that here. And if possible, a representative.
They're in your comments. A lot of professionals are in your comments. I'm not a pharmacist that's giving medicine because I'm a clinical pharmacist.
Now, they run this live. And they tell you, say, somebody go come now, go tell you, say, me bank, I go bring them live, say, I just wanted to say hi. No. If you are, someone says she's a pharmacist. Pharmacist is not enough here. She's not a forensic. You see, my problem is go school, and not go school.
Freeze, freeze. Let me just say my last words. Let me say my last word. My last words here, I will come back later. My last words here now is that if you look at the autopsy is saying that the body that they brought to them was not embalmed. Okay? Meanwhile, Darusha said he embalmed the body. The father said, I found an embalmed body.
How does the father know an embalmed body?
I don't know, but the father
many schools did the father go to that?
I know what a body. Freeze, may interrupt. This part is investigative journalism, and I'm not the one supposed to be doing it. It's supposed to be the detectives. Darusha said I embalmed the body, I put it under the staircase. Father said, I found the embalmed body under the staircase and a bloody blanket. 8 months later, Darusha said, I did not embalm anybody. After he was invited by the police, they hacked my Instagram page. I did not write that. Now we have a toxicology, we have a, autopsy that says the body that brought in was not embalmed. Now, that body was embalmed because formalin is the active ingredient in embalming fluid.
Now, was formalin found?
Don't interrupt. Wait, formalin is what dissolves the liver in rigor and liver mortis. Okay, rigor, R-I-G-E, or liver, L-I-V-E-R. That is what dissolves the liver and the kidney. Everything turns into liquid. You can see clearly that that boy was past rigor mortis, is now in liver mortis. There was some liquid inside the casket. Okay, so at the end of the day, this thing is saying that it was not embalmed. So there's a discrepancy. That's investigative journalism. They made this up. Now, why are they using paracetamol? Why are they not using paracetamol and using acetaminophen, American name? We studied on the USP, United States Pharmacopoeia. Nigeria used BP. Some of you will see BP on your medicines. It means British Pharmacopoeia. That's UK. I am USP. This USP was diphenhydramine. Can you imagine? Acetaminophen. The only thing that they were supposed to see on there was caffeine, because caffeine is the end product of everything. Caffeine will always be there. But they're not supposed to see acetaminophen. Paracetamol has half-life of 3 hours. After 3 hours, you take another. If you have a headache, you take another one. You run it. One Mohbad because my neighbor like me. Mama suku for Mohbad because your mother say getting me. Mama suku for
okay. Auntie Kemi.
This could happen to any of you.
It's okay.
This could happen to any of you.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Thank you. Eshegon.
Time will affect you, if you need me.
I will come back in. Okay. Awesome. Thank you very
much. When you need me,
I will
message me.
I will call you when I come back. Okay. All right, guys. I've got to run.